Okay, so on Friday, Black Friday, which is in America the biggest shopping day of the year, the day of Thanksgiving, Fidel Castro died. I found out when I woke up the next morning. Now, several people on the left in America, Dr. Jill Stein being one of them, Hugh must not be named being one of them, big fucking surprise. And I have some Canadian viewers. I don't even know if I want to call that motherfucker the Prime Minister. I might be insulting you if I call him the Prime Minister. Okay, a whole bunch of journalists from CNN and NBC were calling Fidel the champion of social justice, the champion of social reform, saying he had a big impact on the world, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Now, if you look at The Godfather Part 2, which is the greatest sequel ever made, Al Pacino, who plays Don Michael Corleone, is in Cuba, opening casinos and other shit like that. And he's doing a lot of business with the funny government, blah, blah, blah. Batista was the president. And Batista was seen as a dictator. And obviously, if you look at Godfather Part 2, from the Mafia's point of view, yes, I know Godfather Part 2 is fictional, but from the Mafia's point of view, Batista was cool because he allowed them to open casinos and other business there, and he wasn't breathing down their neck like the friggin' FBI was in America. Okay? Batista didn't really care that these were gangsters opening casinos in his country. Okay? He just wanted the fucking business. But back home in America, the FBI and various other law enforcement agencies didn't want gangsters opening up casinos and stuff like that. So, Batista was seen as a dictator to a lot of people, but to the gangs, he was seen as a friend. Now, Fidel Castro came in as a hero. And if you'll notice, I saw documentaries on him a couple years ago. He had white Americans fighting with him. Swear to God. And he was viewed as a liberator. And in The Godfather Part 2, as in real life, on January 1st, 1959, Batista's like, I get the fuck out of here. And next thing you know, Castro was liberating Cuba. Well, Castro brought his own brand of tyranny to Cuba. And that tyranny involved imprisonment, torture, hanging, firing squad. Okay? Now, all communism is exactly the same. And for the most part, I was talking to Tara Strong, the voice actress, today on Twitter. I don't know if she got back to me, but evil is evil. There is no left or right. It's only up or down. Okay? Hitler, Castro, Hussein. 3 different men, 3 different regions, and in one case, 1 different point in time. But it's all exactly the same. Now, it is alleged that Castro himself killed about 85,000 people. The reason why the number is that low is because he was the president of an island. If Castro were in Venezuela or America or Canada or Italy the number would have been a lot higher. Okay? He only killed that few because he had only so much space to work with. That was it. Okay? Now, under communist regimes, and you can see this in Venezuela now, Google Venezuelan hospital and look at the image that comes up. I want to puke just thinking about it now. I got it in my fucking throat. And there's a very good meme going around. You know, this is your hospital on socialism. This is your government on socialism. This is your house on socialism. This is your government on socialism. Okay? If you look at Cuba, Venezuela, and other communist countries, and I was in Venezuela before the revolution, I talked about it before, you'll notice the same theme. All of the people live in poverty. And when I say poverty, I do not mean they buy a mansion in the whitest part of Westchester County. When I say poverty, I mean they don't have enough food to eat. When I say poverty, I mean they don't have any heating or air conditioning. When I say poverty, I mean 5 people sleep in the same bed in the same room. When I say poverty, I mean, you dig in the garbage can to get a fucking apple out. When I say poverty, okay, you only have 2 meals every 5 days because that's all you can get. Okay? That's what I mean when I say poverty. When I say poverty, I mean you go to the supermarket and there is nothing there, literally. Literally nothing on the shelf. Literally. When I say poverty, I mean there is no toilet paper. Okay? That's what poverty is, my friends. Now, on the contrary, Fidel Castro, his brother Raul, their children, Fidel had 3 sons, their friends, their neighbors, their high-ranking government officials, all of them had a mansion, all of them had caviar, all of them had cigars, all of them had gold, all of them had cars, all of them had guns. Okay? That's the difference. Now, Fidel pretended to resign in 2006, but that's just bullshit. Okay? He only pretended to resign. His brother was acting president. Well, let me tell you something about his brother, okay? His brother was the president in name only. Fidel was still the power behind the throne. Until the day he died, he was the president and the power behind the throne. Trust me when I say that. Okay? I know you think he resigned, but that's not true. He had the power behind the throne. Okay? His brother probably didn't wipe his own ass without permission. Now, a lot of these stupid kids in this fucking country, I'm sick of this fucking next generation, okay? I want to just fucking grab these kids and punch the fucking shit out of them, okay? These stupid fucking kids in this country today are calling Fidel a social warrior or a social justice reformer, okay? Or he was a great man, blah, 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 blah. What do these little bastards complain about? Every day, okay? Now, look at the election results, okay? Do you know that in the election results, I said it before, little bastards wanted to tell the Electoral College to change a couple of votes to this column, that way they can make Hillary the president? Do you know what would happen if you lived in Cuba? And by the way, in Cuba, they did have elections, but the only guys that could legally vote were the government officials. So that's why Castro won every couple of years. Anyway, in Cuba, if the guy you were rooting for didn't win the election, and you lobbied Cuba's Electoral College, because they obviously have one, to change a couple of votes so that your guy could win, what would happen to you? Your entire family would be dragged out of the house at 2 o'clock in the morning in their underwear. They would be hanged from the town square, and their bodies would be left there to rot. Okay? That would be the end of that conversation right there. And my friend, the college professor, she had 26 kids in her 8 a.m. class. And out of those 26 kids, they said after the election, who's going to pass the DREAM Act? Who's going to fight for LGBT rights? Who's going to fight for women's health care? Who's going to... Okay? Entire class, 26 kids. Now, one kid, and these are guys between 18 and 20 maybe, 21 at the most. Now, one of these guys who DREAM Act was a bad thing. Now, one of these guys could tell an illegal alien from a legal alien. All these guys thought that torturing a baby to death was healthcare. And all these guys thought that Hillary Clinton gave a fuck about the gays. Now, what would happen if that happened in Cuba? And these fucking little bastards are complaining that their guy lost. What would happen? All of the boys would be taken out of the class and shot in the head at point blank range. Their bodies left in the street. All of the women, including my friend, the college professor, would be gang raped and then would be shot. Okay? Do you know how they complain about police brutality? Like Michael Brown was a child murdered by a police officer? Yeah, okay. Well, in Cuba, when you go to prison, They torture you. There's no Fifth Amendment. You know, in America you say, I decline to answer on the grounds that my answer might be self-incriminating. Okay. In Cuba, you say, I decline to answer. Oh, wait. Is that my mother who has a baton up her ass? Okay, I'll talk now. Because that's what they do. Saddam Hussein did that. You want some guy to talk, and he's not in the mood to talk. Some guys are brave. Okay, there is not a single tough guy in this world that will remain silent if you are torturing his child in front of him. Do you know how when a guy is caught committing a crime, he's caught red-handed, and the jury brings him in guilty, and they say he didn't get a fair trial? In Cuba, there is no trial. In Cuba, when Fidel Castro says he doesn't like you, you go to prison. Whether or not you come out alive depends on his mood. Do you know how, when there are protesters, the cops have to be there? That's the law. The reason is simple. You have a whole bunch of guys protesting. One guy might not like the protesters and might throw a rock at them. The police gotta be there to protect the protesters. Even the protesters that are protesting against them. There's always 100,000 protesters that are peaceful. But there's always one guy in the protest crowd that wants to start a fight. He's looking for that nervous cop to throw something at him. So the cop will shoot. The cops have to be there to arrest him before he causes a big problem. Now in Cuba, when you go to protest in Cuba, you go to protest and you come out in public and you say, I don't like. The minute you say, I don't like, the soldier who was standing on the corner watching you pulls out his gun and shoots you in the fucking head and kills you right there in the street. He doesn't even let you finish the fucking sentence. I don't like. Okay? So, I'm sick and fucking tired of these fucking assholes who are living in this country. Don't like the government. Don't like the police. They bitch about every fucking cocksucking little thing. I mean, they bitch about fucking everything. And they're calling Fidel Castro a fucking hero and a social reformer. Okay, well, why don't you go live in the fucking country? Because now that he's dead, Raul is officially the president. When Raul dies, assuming the fucking Cuban people aren't smart enough to fucking kill the Castro family, one of his sons will take over. Okay? And you know, I'm just so sick of this fucking shit, okay? Now, he must not be named. If Fidel Castro had been a pro-life NRA member, he would have called him a fucking terrorist. Okay? You look at he who must not be named, his response, and then you look at President Trump's response. No doubt in my mind, I voted for the right guy. This is still the man who was this close to firing fucking rockets into the southern United States in the 1960s. There were American citizens 20 odd years ago who were looking for drowning victims. They were captured and killed. They got too close to Cuba. Okay? So, do me a favor, okay? Shut your fucking mouth before you find out what the fuck is going on, okay? If Castro's so fucking great, go down there and live in his fucking country with his fucking brother, okay? Because I don't need to hear your fucking bullshit. Thank you.